Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of SUGTalks. I'm Craig Dale, your host, and together with our special guests, we'll take a deep dive into the topics, challenges, and opportunities facing SAP users today. And we're actually bringing you this live and on video. Wave to the camera, Simon. For the first time ever. So please don't switch off just yet. If we're putting you off, just don't watch the screen. But look, really delighted to have you with me here today, Simon. And once more, I am joined by Simon Nichols, CEO and founder of Thrive. Welcome, Simon.
Thank you for having me back again.
Welcome. And please say hello to our viewers as well while we're here.
Hello, SAP User Group viewers.
So today's episode, we're going to be discussing the impact of kindness and how that can have an impact on our personal and also professional lives. And just before we get into that, as we're here at UKISUG CONNECT,
Live!
Yeah, what is the best piece of swag that you've ever received at an event?
What a great question. And it was interesting earlier because as we were told by our wonderful producer, most of these are intended to trip me up. And yet this one is right up my street because I have been on the receiving end and the giving end of swag SAP User Group conferences for probably about 15 years now. And obviously, I would like to point out that as a speaker, we do get given gifts, which are all declared obviously as charitable donations. But I still have at least 2 power banks from the SAP User Group and also an umbrella. But my all-time favourite one, and I'm not sure if we're now to talk about the actual vendors that come here as well, but I'm going to say SNP. And a few years ago, they very kindly gifted me an ice scraper. That is single-handedly the best gift that I ever had. It got me through 2 winters, and the only reason that I don't have it anymore is I'm pretty convinced my son stole it because it was always outside the house and it always used to help with de-icing cars, and then it suddenly went and vanished. So it was either stolen or, as I suspect, it's in my son's car somewhere.
Wow. And ice scraper, though, you're Milton Keynes based, aren't you? Get frost and ice down there?
We had it once. We didn't enjoy it. I know up north, it's normally snowstorms and you have to dig yourself out. Maybe SMP can do a snow shovel one year for the for our Teesside viewers. But no, we do. We, even though we're in the centre of England and in this sort of lovely little bubble, we do occasionally get frost and ice.
Oh, good. Well, it's nice to know we're not alone. Us in Scotland, so that's great. I was just thinking about that myself, and it might seem sad, but I once got a rubber cable tidy. Ooh. And it wasn't like the rubber band, it was thick and it had a press stud in the middle, and honest to God, it's one of the best things ever. It just, you just open your bag and you've got cables everywhere. Well, this thing just keeps the cable neat and tidy, doesn't tangle with anything else, it's always there and ready. Maybe I am a sadho, but, carrying lots of cables around with you, that was perfect. I
did actually have a conversation. There's some, we allow them in occasionally, newbies. There's some newbies on the stand floor, and I was giving them an example of swag collecting, because there's subtle arts, and people who've been coming to the SAP User Group conference will probably know this, but the best time to collect the goodies is about 1:30 on the Tuesday. Because what you've got all of these wonderful exhibitors, and they've got to cart the stuff home. And if you want 17 water bottles, 28 umbrellas, and 15 ice scrapers, if you go round, and there's even, and I loved it as I walked out today, someone gifted me a gift bag. There was nothing in it, but he said, you might want that for later when you're collecting all the goodies. So we're actually at that stage now where people are giving away bags to go and collect other people's stuff. I love it.
Oh, that's brilliant. See, we're talking about being kind, and, there's a top tip right off the top of kindness. So that's just absolutely brilliant. And No, we touched on kindness when we recorded the episode on the 5 ways of well-being, and if you haven't listened to that, please do go and listen to that episode, because they're kind of under the give element of the 5 ways of well-being, which is one of the mental health themes here at Connect. And just to start our conversation, Simon, what would you define as kindness meaning to you?
It's such a difficult question to answer, and you'll notice if you listen to any podcasts and there's guests on, and they'll always answer a completely different question if it's a really difficult question, or they'll say it's a really difficult question. Let's see which rabbit hole we can go down on this. But kindness is such a broad definition, and you can be kind by not doing something. You in your perception of, well, I was going to hit you, Craig. I'm not. How kind am I? So you can have this almost negative.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ask any of the exhibitors down at no. But the kindness goes, and I think about some, and we had Mike on a previous podcast, didn't we? And the amount of empathy and love and effort that Mike has put into his role at Birmingham Mind, it just, I think that's beyond kindness. And but your perception of kindness really depends on, I think, your lived experience of kindness. If people have been kind to you, if people have been nice, they've been helpful, then what that means is that you will probably be kind and helpful to someone else. So when I think of kindness, I just think of the way that you can make someone else feel better. That's my version of kindness.
Oh, it's nice. So kind of, I think I was watching a session we talked about earlier, and being friendly to somebody is quite simply an act of kindness. And you can be generous. You can be generous with anything. And we've talked about this before. And the one thing that I think we agreed on is the highest bit of generosity is being generous with your time.
Yes.
Because we only have an infinite amount of that, and it's probably the most precious thing we can give. And the other thing is considerate, considering others and their position, and that's what it means to me, I think, when I'm thinking about that. And kindness can have an impact on both sides, giving and receiving. And what impacts can that have on people?
I think if you're continually giving, and by that I mean if your kindness buffer is overflowing because you're always helping someone else, you're always doing the right thing in your world, then sometimes you might feel that your kindness reservoir is running low. And do you know what? I'm doing all of this and I'm not receiving anything, or there's a perception I'm not receiving. And we sometimes see this empathy burnout potentially, and we see it a lot, and we saw it a huge amount during the last 3 years around NHS workers, and their level of kindness, their level of care and support, and where is their support coming from? And I think if you're not careful, you, like anything in life, we have a finite, I guess, usage. Think of it as data solutions. We have a finite storage. And that also goes for our kindness buffer, because we can feel that we're giving too much. We're being too kind and we're not receiving that in return. And I think then that has a danger. If you feel like you're just giving and giving and giving, then actually there's an element of bitterness and resentment that might come in. So I think you've got to actually don't not be kind, but I think sometimes you need to think about how you're being kind and whether or not it's taken a toll on you, because it might just be you need to, and we talk about this all the time, don't we, about putting our own oxygen mask on. Actually, I need to be kind to myself now, and in being kind to myself means I can't be kind to you today. I'm really sorry, but I'll go back to being kind to you tomorrow. So I think it's just watching for that reservoir and watching when your kindness level is getting too low, and then maybe start to be kind to yourself at that point.
Could it be kind of likened to an emotional bank account, if you like, your emotional account? So you're giving so much and your balance is going down, and whether you're depositing in that account yourself by thinking about yourself and being kind to yourself, or whether others are being kind to you to deposit, that keeps that balance level.
It does. That's a perfect analogy. But the thing is, we're quite often, we don't know how to receive kindness.
Yeah.
So if I was genuine earlier, and sort of like, I was walking up the stairs and I was like, God, these stairs are quite tough, and I know that I'm not that fit, and I know we've talked about you being super fit in thing. But if I say, oh yeah, Craig, you're really healthy, you're fit, you're looking good, you're looking well, you'd be like, yeah, and you tend to pass it off. We're not very good at taking compliments. Certainly in the UK, we think that there's a disingenuous reason as to why people are saying that. But for a lot of people, it's just being kind. I've noticed that you're really good on the smoothie bike, and if it's like, no, I'm not. And we play that level of kindness down. So sometimes you're right, that bank account is a little bit, it doesn't accept deposits. When you get to the ATM and it's like, you want to put your £20, I'm out of envelopes. I think sometimes we're out of envelopes, and we can't accept that someone is being kind to us, or maybe we don't deserve or feel that we deserve that level of kindness. And I've really had to struggle myself to take compliments. And I can say, oh, I'm amazing, I'm great, I'm confident. But if someone else says, oh, Simon, you're really great today, I'm like, oh, was I? And we have that sort of self-doubt comes in. And I think that's a real level of kindness, if you can accept the compliments from other people. Because they're given in genuine reason for saying it, and not just to placate you or sort of shut you up. But I think, most people, they do actually genuinely mean it. Yeah.
Well, I will accept it, and I will just simply say thank you.
That's quite all right. And that's a good thing, isn't it? It's just accept it and say, yeah. And hopefully you feel a little bit better about it, because then that will build up that reservoir again. Yeah. That will increase your bank account.
Okay. Do you think that people have become less kind in recent times, or maybe in recent decades?
I think we view any historical comparison like that with wonderful rose-tinted glasses, because we, again, I don't know if people can tell, but Craig's accent is not from around here, is up north, and they never used to shut their doors, and but actually it probably still happens actually. But
you have doors.
Oh, when I were a lad. But we sometimes look back, and everyone helped, and I mean, obviously most of our parents and maybe our grandparents' memories are that post-war era where everybody was pulling together and everyone was being nice and friendly. And I think what we've got now is, I don't think that people are less nice. I think we just see the bad side of people that was maybe hidden before. Because I still think, and my wife says this as well, is that for the most part, I think everybody that you come across in life is nice, genuine, and kind. I think that's, if you start from that basis. Now, we know there are criminals out there, we know there are bad people, but I still think that it's a small subsection of society. But what have we got now? We've got social media, we've got everything always switched on. And because of that, we get made aware of all of the bad things, the non-kind things that are happening before we get to, and I'm going to use another analogy that I know you'll get, Craig, because you and I are a similar age, which is that's life, the Esther Ransom. And do you remember we just went through this multitude of stuff, some bad, some okay, and then right at the end we went, and here is a water skiing dog. And we left that piece of happiness, that piece of joy, that piece of kindness almost to the end. And I think that's what we're happening now. I don't think people are less kind. In fact, I think when you look about charitable donations and the amount of people doing things not for their own benefit, and the community interest companies and all those great things, I think that we're just not celebrating kindness as much as we should be doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. And, I think you touched on social media there, and I know we've spoke about it before. And, when we were thinking about having a chat around this and around kindness, I couldn't help but, thinking back to Caroline Flack, may she be resting in peace. But there was a lot of focus before sadly passing, where on I think it was a social media post where she said, if you can be anything in the world, be kind, I think was the quote. And that kind of led to the hashtag Be Kind movement, where there seemed to be quite a lot of impetus behind that for a time. But for me, it didn't seem to take long before the online trolls were back. And the social media and the online element, I just think gives people places to hide. It's like the faceless. If you're going to be unkind to me here, you're doing it, and that's possibly a courageous thing to do. In a way, might also be cowardly. But if you're doing it from behind a keyboard where no one knows who you are and you're hiding your identity, that for me is, I think it's one of the big problems in today's society.
It is, and again, because we see all of these trolls, and even the terminology of being called a troll now, people are wearing it as a badge of honor of like, oh, I'm this sort of like troglodyte underground type element. But we're still seeing a minority. And we're still seeing a minority, and I always refer this back to, and I was talking to a couple of wonderful people from the Netherlands last night, and I was unfortunate enough, or fortunate enough, however you wanted to be. I was in Amsterdam the day we announced Brexit, and I walked into the meeting, and I said, look, I'm on behalf, we were the only UK people there. I said, on behalf of the entire nation, I do apologise. We have no idea how this happened, but it's one of those things is that because there's so much focus on the negative, and you and I have talked about it, 5 times as much focus on negative as there is positive. So we believe the social media movement is just full of these trolls, whereas actual fact, you'll find that they get knocked down very quickly. There's as many troll hunters out there as I think there are trolls, and it's interesting to see that you'll always get the one. And I don't know if you see these people in person, whether or not, because it is easy to hide behind that screen. And I know there's a fantastic advert, I think it's a betting advert, betting company, and they go around with the sports people into people's homes. I don't know if you've seen it, it's a fantastic advert. And there's like a boxer, and they said, well, this is the tweet you put up about, he couldn't take a hit to the stomach. And then they've got the famous boxer there, they wheel him out of the transit van, and then he punches the bloke in the stomach. And it's like, if these individuals were actually out in the open, then we wouldn't get that. But then you think, why are you doing that? And you and I have spoken about Shezi in the past, and Shezi's got a wonderful TED talk talking about all behaviour is communication. So there's a reason, there's a life experience, there's something that's gone on in that individual's mind to allow them to make that comment. So why are they doing that? And I think that's the thing. And more that we can get behind the supporters of the troll hunters, I guess it is, and just sort of put the kindness in, we can shout out, or we can shut out a lot of those trolls.
Mm-hmm. We know our community, but we don't know yours yet. Why not share the benefits of your UKISUG membership with those who don't know about us? The UKISUG referral scheme rewards you for helping to grow and develop our community. You can check out the link in the description to find out more about how you can get involved. Terms and conditions apply. We hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Do you think that, the trolls, we'll keep on that theme if you like, do you think they understand the impact they're actually having on people?
I think we need to look at the online troll as the old school bully, and whether or not they know the true impact of what their thoughts and feelings are actually impacting other people, I don't necessarily know. I think they want to create a reaction. Mm-hmm. Most bullies tend to have come from a bullied background, so they're almost passing on that element. I think they revel in the attention, and I think they they might feed off that, and I got 20,000 likes. They're not likes. They're just people agreeing with your opinion. And the problem with opinions is they only really matter to the person that's making them in the first place. But you as an individual, especially on social media, and you see all these, and you take those words, and sticks and stones may break my bones, words will heaven never hurt me. What a load of old rubbish. It's, the impact of seeing that tweet, seeing that Facebook post, seeing that email, and that, these are the things that drive people to suicide. They cannot contain their hurt, their pain. So I don't necessarily think, a troll will go out of his way to, upset a particular individual. But with Caroline Flack, we saw it hugely impacted because it was thousands upon thousands, and there just wasn't enough anti-troll, the troll hunters. There wasn't enough at the time. And I think we can all just... It's like anything, and we've all had this on leadership and management training and just being a nice person training, is write the email, write the tweet, write the Facebook post, and then delete it. Come back to it 20 minutes later when your blood is less boiled and you think about what you're going to write. And I think if you just do that, write whatever you like, but don't necessarily have to post it. We know that we're in control of our thoughts, our attitudes, our actions. And I think if you're gonna say something or write something, just think, would I like that done to me? Mm-hmm. And if the answer's no, which is probably going to be, don't write it. At the end of the day, no one cares about your opinion, unfortunately. But some people, I don't think, can get past that, and they just have to have their voice heard. And if they do it in a hurtful way, it's no skin off their nose. But for other people, it's hugely impactful.
Yeah. Cheers. And just moving it now on the flip side of that, how can we support those around us by showing kindness, and what impact does that actually have on our lives too?
Well, if you think about a time, and this is going out to everybody out there, if you think about a time that a random, and we call them random acts of kindness, don't we? But it could just be a point where someone went out of their way without your knowledge, without your intent, and they did something. Whether maybe they took a piece of work from you, maybe they said a nice thing to your manager, whatever that thing. Think about how that made you feel. And that's the key thing, is that kindness, or being kind, or having a kind act done to you, it makes you feel differently. And we've spoken many times about the happiness chemicals, and what that kindness actually does is it triggers dopamine, it triggers serotonin, it triggers oxytocin. It actually makes us feel good. And when you be kind to someone else, it has exactly the same effect on you. If you think about when you're just walking through the exhibitor hall or in one of the sessions, and you smile at one of the other delegates and they smile back, that makes you both feel great. It gives you, I can't remember who they are. I've known them for 10 years. But we both know each other, and we've got that connection. Mm-hmm. And that smile. And I always talk about a smile, because as soon as that smile's gone, you don't see what's on their face. You've just walked past them. That smile might disappear, and it might be the only time they smile that day. And I just feel by passing that little bit of kindness on, because what is kindness also? Kindness is love. And we're not talking necessarily about love in terms of falling madly in love with someone, but we can love everybody. We can want the best for everybody. And I think just by doing that little act of random kindness, picking something up, opening a door, or going the full hog and actually buying someone at work, bringing in the donuts, whatever that looks like, it will impact. And we've said before, it's not what people say, it's not necessarily what people do. You remember people by how they made you feel.
Mm. Thank you. And I suppose that it gives you a feel-good factor, gives them a feel-good factor. Hopefully that leads to happiness, or we can maintain that. Like you say, that smile may fade, but hopefully somebody else can relight it as gone. Is there a difference between how we give kindness, or how we should give kindness in a personal versus a professional setting, or do we just be kind the same no matter what?
I would say yes, because part of, I guess, the greater culture and inclusion element is being yourself. And if you're kind naturally, why shouldn't you be kind at work? Why shouldn't you be kind in a professional circumstance? But here we're talking about organisational kindness, and I think that's slightly different. Because a lot of organisations, it's all about revenue, it's about the bottom line. And actually, it's not, is it? It should never be about the revenue or the bottom line. It's about people. And other than huge startups that are totally using AI and generative ways of working, most organizations that will be listening to this podcast will be part of larger organizations. And the only reason that they're there is the people that went behind them. Jeff Bezos and Amazon, it was him. It was him in his basement, and that's how he started. And then he got more people and more people and more people. And it's the people that make that business. So as an organisation, how can you be kind? Or the more that you do, or the more that you allow your employees to thrive, to be who they are, the more culture, inclusion, honesty, transparency, communication, the more you tell them. We go on a journey as an organisation. Why do we keep things to the senior leadership team? We're not going to tell anyone. We're not going to tell anyone where we're going. We're not going to tell anyone we're launching a new product, just in case. In case what? In case you might have an employee who's got an idea and an innovative way to make that product better. I think the way that we can do organisational kindness is to trust our employees more, and to trust that they will want to do things with us. And you can only get that, again, through fostering that culture of inclusivity, which I think stems from managers and senior leaders being kind.
Yeah, like give that psychological safety as well. Every now and again, Vicky will come into the office, or Helen, and say, "What's up with your face?" As if I could ever be grumpy.
No.
I'm not sure what they're talking about, but apparently, they want to see me smile now and again. But yeah, it's that thing, being able to, I think as well, be called out and understand and say, right, okay, perhaps I am known to kind of wear my heart on my sleeve, or wear my thoughts on my face, whichever way it goes. So, and being able to feel comfortable in doing that, in calling each other out, so that we can help each other. And I like that. And I think as we kind of come to a close, is there anything else you would like to leave our listeners and viewers on this podcast?
I'd have done my hair had I known.
Yeah, we were surprised on this one, weren't we?
We were. It's but a lovely surprise, and who knows? This may be the way forward. We're
maybe
always
I'll
recorded.
get a wig.
I will. I guess for me, it's try and we call it random acts of kindness. They're not random if we think about them, and I think you can just try to be as kind as possible to everybody you meet. And I think that's you may not feel it, but actually, if you're feeling at your lowest ebb, and it could just be, as we mentioned on the way up, we saw one of the security, or not security guards, but one of the helpers from the ICC, a wonderful pair of glasses, and I just, as a parting shot, I just realised, I turned around and went, "They're amazing glasses." And he went, "Oh, thank you." And we just carried on. And it's just, if you see something about someone that you think, "Oh, do you know what? That's lovely. That's really nice." Don't be afraid, because with the UK, we shut our emotions down. But wouldn't it be nice, think about what you would do. "Oh, nice T-shirt, Craig. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a medium. I can fit in a medium." But that's mean. I'm double XL. But it's just that being told that you look nice, you smell nice, you just that nice act. Don't make it random. Mm-hmm. Make it part of your daily routine. Today, I'm going to be kind to as many people as possible, and maybe they'll be kind moving forward, and they'll be kind to other people as well.
Thank you, Simon. I think what you do and what Thrive does is absolutely fantastic, and you know our members do too. So thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me today, and to our listeners and viewers, we hope you found that conversation valuable. I hope the fact we're on camera didn't put you off at all, and please make sure you subscribe so you never miss one of our future episodes. And until the next time, stay safe, stay well, and be kind.